Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Everybody together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan, Shri Govinda Gopinath Madhava, Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Jagannath Swami Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra, Jayanath Swami Nayana Tathayami, Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Once more together, please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Shri, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, गौर भक्त वृंद की. So, where is Ramchandra Prabhu? You want to ask some question, he was telling, from the class. Another 10-15 minutes we will take question and then we start, okay? Ramchandra, use the mic to him. Somebody can tighten this one. Just we lift, huh? Yeah. Hare Krishna.
This is, I had a question. In yesterday, you really nicely explained about the three topics. In that, you mentioned about interpersonal relationship, and you also mentioned about correction. That correction is at the right time at the right quantity.
Right time.
That would have great impact. So my question was, like, typically it happens that devotees, and in general that is human nature, conditioned nature, that people will remember the feedback more than the appreciation that someone has given, unfortunately. How is it like different for different people, or in general is there a guiding principle that mentors should follow, like how many times you should appreciate and before correction or something like that? That was my question. Like
The simplest answer to this question is, the relationships work like a bank account. There are deposits, there are withdrawals. If there are more deposits and less withdrawals, the trust is preserved. When there are less deposits and more withdrawals, then the trust is broken. And how do you deposit? How many of you would like to increase the relationship bank deposit in your people? Correct? No, I'll show you something. See, taking time to understand the person's feelings and emotions means a lot to many people. For example, Lord Chaitanya is meeting Rup Sanatan. And Rup Sanatan telling about their background, what background they come from. And then they ask the question, Ke ami ke ne ama yare tapatrai, correct, no? So, first Mahaprabhu heard, understood about them, and then he spoke to them. Similarly, Krishna also took time to understand Arjuna's feelings, correct or not? The whole first chapter Krishna didn't speak. Second chapter after the 7th verse he spoke, correct, no? That means he took time to understand Arjuna's feelings. Although Krishna knows everything, still he took time. So God has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. That means we listen to others and understand their feelings first. When you understand others, like doctor looks at you and hears your complaints. And then when he prescribes a diagnosis, you take it seriously because doctor has heard you, correct, no? Once Radha Gopinath was telling, in his college days, lot of students were waiting outside to get treated by the doctor during some time when there was a health crisis. So when he went in the doctor's room, like that he was coughing, and doctor immediately wrote a prescription and gave it. And then Radha Gopinath said, but Prabhu, doctor, but I have not told you my problem. He said, no, I understand. From your cough I can make out what it is. I given, take it and go call the next fellow, he said. So Radha Gopinath said, I just twisted it and threw the prescription in the dustbin and I went away, he said. Because that diagnosis was useless for me. Why? Because doctor didn't listen to me. So if you don't listen to people, their feelings, then they shut down. How they shut down? They will nod their head for anything you say without any protest, which means they have cut off their connection with you. But when you listen to people and understand what they wish to say and give a benefit of doubt to them, then people appreciate. So it is a key to understanding someone else's needs. We have to first understand their need properly before we can prescribe anything to them. It's the first thing, understanding individual. Second thing, attention to detail. Small good deeds might leave a lasting positive feeling. Like Lord Rama had sent one ring to Sita, correct, no? Hanuman gave that ring, and that was such a memorable thing for Sita. Similarly, Lord Chaitanya gave one Govardhan Shila and Gujamala, correct, no? To Raghunath Das. Small Mahaprasad. Or King Prataprudra could not meet Mahaprabhu, but Mahaprabhu gave his piece of cloth to Nityanand Prabhu, and then through Nityanand Prabhu to the son of Prataprudra. When Prataprudra got that piece of cloth, it was like meeting Mahaprabhu himself for him, isn't it? So when you do a small good deed to somebody, it has a lasting positive feeling. Like boys were going for summer vacation, 2 months. So one mentor made sure that every one of his mentees got journey prasad pack. You know, he packed the prasadam and went to the railway station. The boy was boarding the train. Train was about to leave. He said, gave a pack. Prabhu, Haribol. He said, what is this? This is for a journey prasad. The boy had no concept of what is journey prasad. At that time, he was not even eating prasad. So he gave a pack. And the boy told Prabhu that the entire 2 months my chanting went well. I never reduced my rounds because my mentor gave me journey prasad. They remembered. One small deeds give a lasting positive feeling. Especially if you help them at the time of need. Somebody is thirsty, you give them water. Somebody is hungry, you give them food. Somebody is emotionally depressed, you uplift their emotions. Somebody has failed in examination and feeling suicidal thoughts, your one word of encouragement will bring them out of that. So, small good deeds make a very lasting positive feeling. And then read the second one. Read it, one of you.
Small discourtesies and forms of disrespect can greatly affect the relation.
Yeah, this is another thing. One comment you made about them, in a public assembly or anything like that, you told you are like this, or, like for example, somebody you saw them in the morning program, directly coming for, Shringar Darshan. You didn't see when Chapate. Kya Prabhuji, so gaya kya? Like that you ask. He says, Prabhuji, what are you talking? I'm not in the temple. I'm coming from outside. I had gone to a student center or something to do a morning program. I did. Now I'm directly joining Guru Puja now. Not that I have been sleeping. He may say like that. But now this one word, so gaya kya, that he'll remember in the mind whole life. That means he has a perception about me that I am lazy. Correct, na? So, small discourtesies lead to big withdrawal, and small good deeds lead to big deposits. Very amazing, no? It's a small thing. So, in 1993, when I had gone for the Pune Yatra, that is the year first time, I went for the big Yatra also. Pune Yatra, when Maharaj was coming in, the Mafatlal Bungalow. So at that time, the senior devotees in Bombay told me to garland my spiritual master. So I was keeping the garland. So when he came and got down from the car, he came in, I just went and offered him garland and bowed down. So Maharaj was smiling and he murmured something about me to the other devotees. But that murmuring was within my hearing. So he said, hey, look at Radhesham, he looks like one of the 4 Kumaras. Like that he said. This was how many years ago? 1993. Now? 32 years, still I have not forgotten. I even remember the year also. Correct, no? That means one small appreciation is never forgotten. Similarly, somebody spoke something strong to you that pricked you very much. Especially, sometimes it pricks our false ego. Then we don't forget it very easily. Remember also. That's attention to details. So this can be speech, it can be good deed also. It can be some good work. Any of your examples where somebody remembered you and sent something for you through somebody? Anybody have an example? Yes.
Gifts from the devotees.
Gifts from devotees.
Exact gift what we need at the time.
When you're needing some gift, some devotee gives you a gift which you needed. So that's a small thing, but people remember very much. Third one, read it, keeping commitments.
Maintaining a promise can be a major boost to the relation. Breaking a promise can be a major injury to the relation. We should be careful in making promises. We should consider unforeseen obstacles in fulfilling them.
Yeah. Don't make promises very casually. Make sure you'll be able to fulfill it. And if you made a promise, stick to it. And if you break a promise, it's big withdrawal. And keeping a promise is a big deposit. Okay, how many of you know boys who once if you have told them it is done? You have anybody like that? You have people like that? Any example you can give? Any boy or any devotee? Only once, no follow-up is required. Once you tell it is done.
With respect to any preaching program,
Anything.
Follow-up of the boys.
Yes.
Tell him once,
Yes.
and I'm sure it is done.
Anybody name you remember?
In India.
India also is solid. Who is that? In Bangalore?
Yeah, one Ballan Majan too.
So now many others will have the same experience with him, correct? No? He is a trustworthy person. So then he earns a lot of deposits from people. And another person, don't tell me the name, but how many of you have met people, if you tell them, you can be sure that you won't do it unless you follow up. How many of you know? There are people or not? People are there or not? You will see that. So will you give them immediately any good work or you will not give them?
No.
You won't give them because generally they will be kept in another category. How many of you have become angry with somebody who did not keep the promise? You're correct? Only half of you. Only 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, almost all of us, yeah. None of us like a person who makes a promise and doesn't keep it. Because first time we didn't know, he did it. And then when he does 2, 3 times, then you understand, this fellow is like this. I have to keep on following up. Just like a tube light, if you press it, it will be on. When you take off your hand, it will be off. Some tube lights are like that. That means unless you follow up, things won't happen. It's like this. Some people, you put on the switch, immediately bulb is on. But tube light sometimes pluck, 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 and then slowly it's on. Some people do slowly, some people do quickly. So keeping commitment is a very important thing. If you made a promise, keep promise. One time, one devotee told me on Saturday, Prabhu, Tuesday evening can you give program? I said, why not? I can go. He told me, Prabhuji, you are a very senior man. If you come, they will be very happy. I thought, this Tuesday you go. He said, I agreed. But then Sunday it became late night for me, and Monday also my health wasn't good. And Tuesday morning I got viral fever. Came to know. Then I took some antibiotics and everything. And I totally forgot that I made a promise that Tuesday evening I am going. So Tuesday evening the devotee came and told me, Prabhuji, vehicle is ready, he said. Because he wasn't aware that I have fever. He just called me on phone and said, Prabhuji, the vehicle is just standing in front of the temple. I said, what vehicle? I asked. So you have to go for the program, no? Today evening that. My Lord, I realized that I made a promise on Saturday, I totally forgot. I didn't note in my calendar. I said, Prabhu, this program surely there is. Why not? We have already made a poster and announced to everybody that you are coming. Everybody is very happy, Prabhu. They are all waiting to, hear from you and all that he said. Today more than, 150, 160 people are coming. It's a big program today. My Lord, now I didn't want to disappoint him. So, I took a thick blanket also with me. I went in a sumo, backside I just wrapped around myself, slept. I told the sumo driver, before reaching the venue, 5 minutes before you tell me, I will get up and put my tilak and everything. So I wrapped my blanket and slept for some time and I went to the program, put tilak. Some or other I dragged on and finished the program. And finished early and then talked to a few people, came back. So now I thought of asking that devotee, can I send somebody else? But he will certainly be unhappy, correct, no? That's something we can do sometimes. Because people expect that if you don't go, you arrange somebody, correct, no? In your place. So, this is the problem with integrity and honesty. These are very good qualities, but sometimes you have to be heavy on yourself. And all great souls are like that. All great souls, you will see that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Prabhupada and all of them, by seeing them we take inspiration. In our life, where are we getting the power to be a follower of integrity or keeping the word? From great souls. Like one example I'll tell you. Srila Prabhupada in America, once he called one boy. He said, you told me that you want to join full time. When are you going to go to Ahmedabad and you're going to start the temple? He asked. He said, actually he had come to Prabhupada to give $5,000 donation. He gave $5,000 donation to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada asked, when are you going to go to India and start? It was Yashwantanandan Prabhu. Yeah, Prabhupada, it will take me 4 years at least. I have to earn some more money and I will go. And then, so Prabhupada had told that, actually Prabhupada was thinking of telling him to immediately start. Immediately go to India and start. When he gave $5,000, Prabhupada gave it back to him and said, take this amount as a principal amount, start immediately. Go to India and start the temple. And then he told Prabhupada, it'll take 4 more years, he said. Prabhupada said, okay, you finish your duties and everything, then you can go to India after that. And 4 years later, when Yashwantanandan Prabhu was coming to India, he went to offer obeisance to Prabhupada. Prabhupada called his secretary and said, that $5,000, give him now, he said. And he was surprised how Prabhupada remembered that. Huh? So he says, Prabhupada, when he said something, he will stick to it. He will not change it. So keeping promise. Therefore, making promise also we should be careful. Can we make too many promises? We should be careful while making promise. Dasharath made 2 promises and got into trouble with Kaikeyi later. Isn't it? Once you give a promise, you can't go back. But if you can make promise and keep it, you are going to build relationship with people. People will trust you. And people watch you day after day, month after month, year after year. Then they will trust you. Read it?
Showing integrity. It means aligning values and behavior to practice what we preach. Integrity is the quality of being upright in principle and action, especially in situations that test sincerity of purpose, responsibility, or trust. Integrity creates a foundation of trust which is essential for cooperation and long-term growth.
Yeah. This is actually walking your talk. In situations which require trust. For example, where all you require trust? In like marital relationships, or going to a doctor, or going to education in a college, or in a company situation also. Trust between people becomes of paramount importance in relationships. So in those things, walking your talk. For example, when walking your talk is actually setting an ideal example of integrity, like being right in principle and in action. It is said, this is called integrity. One company has a motto called what? The company says, we said, we did. That's called integrity. And honesty means to say what you will do. Integrity means to do what you said, which is more difficult. Integrity is more difficult. Honesty is also difficult, but integrity is more difficult. So, especially in situations where if you take shortcut, the profits are more. But if you take long cuts, the profits are less. But still you will take a long cut to stick to integrity. One example, let us tell you. So, there were 2 shops in end of a lane. One is a devotee shop, one is a non-devotee shop, bakery shop. So both are selling, and the devotee shop is just making, monthly they make only $5,000. And this one is making $20,000. Many people came to devotee shop and said, look at you, both shops same size, same commodities you make. He is making 20,000, you are making 5,000. And the devotee found out how he is making so much profit. Because whenever there is a fungus coming in a bread, he will just brush it and sell it. Because he didn't want to waste it. So he was making $20,000. Whereas devotee, as soon as fungus would come, he would throw it in the dustbin. He said, we should not even feed this to animals also, even they will suffer. So he was very concerned about the customers. They should eat pure food. Because of which he got only $5,000. But after 6 months, some kind of food poisoning happened in the other shop because of fungus. So immediately complaints went to police. Police came for an investigation and they sealed the shop. And the shop came to be called as fungus shop. After that, nobody went there and the shop was closed forever. And because 1 or 2 people died also in food poisoning. So then that fellow was finished. Then all his customers, where will they go? Where they came? They came to here. Now his profit started going from $5,000 to $15,000 now. Profits increased for him. This shop was closed down. So this is the integrity. You will see integrity will not give you immediate success. It will give you success in the long run. Whereas lack of integrity will give you immediate profit, but in the long run it will be closed down. There is no possibility. Therefore, like copying an exam may give you good marks, and once you cultivate that habit, one day you will be debarred from the course for 3 years. On the other hand, those who don't copy, they may get less marks, but they will eventually graduate from the course. So this is integrity, walking our talk. And read that.
Apologizing sincerely when making a mistake. A genuine apology could be great boost to the relation, but repeated apologies can be perceived as insincere. Those who possess a sense of security can apologize. They don't worry that others might consider admitting a mistake to be a weakness. Mistakes of judgment, which are usually of mind, are easily forgiven, but mistakes of heart involving pride, rationalization, and ill motives are more difficult to forgive.
Yeah. So, who doesn't do mistakes? We all do mistakes. But we can always say sorry to the others, and they won't mind when you say sorry. But if you repeatedly say sorry, 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 they will ask you, how many sorries? Keep your sorry puri with yourself. They will say. And they'll get fed up with us, correct? No? How many sorries are you going to say? Because some people say sorry hundreds of times. And they keep on doing mistake. Can we keep on doing mistake? Yes, you can do mistakes, but you should do a new mistake. Don't repeat the old mistake. Learn from the old mistake, correct? No? So, apologizing sincerely when making a mistake. So, this is a very good habit it is. But many people feel fear to apologize. They feel that it will make me look weak. And not only that, other person may take upper hand and say, see, now you have sought apologies now. So, here is the question, which is important for you? Relationship is important for you, or proving your point is important? So sometimes two people are arguing on the same point. Like for example, once a wife was telling her husband that, morning I told you to bring this from the market, did you bring it? Evening the man said, what? You never told me anything. She said, don't you remember, you were just about to leave for the office, at the door you were standing with a phone. I told you repeatedly, you have a phone in the hand, are you hearing me? I asked you, you said, yes, you said. I told you to bring this. He said, really? It's true, I was having the phone, I stood near the door, but you never told me anything, he is saying. And they can argue for 2 hours. Is it good? Because both are trying to prove their own point. She wants to prove that she told him, and he wants to prove that he never heard from her anything. So this kind of heated arguments between two people, it will increase hatred in the heart. Then later on, they can't even look at each other. They will throw angry glances at each other. Then that will really cause bitterness. The relationship will become bitter. But if you want to make the relationship better, how do you make bitter to better? Anybody has a clue for this? In this situation?
Apologetic. We can say that maybe I did not...
one out of the two. Either she should say, okay, you mean to say, I never told you, it's all right, maybe I didn't tell you, now I am telling you, now go and bring it now, she can say. Or he can say that, maybe you told me I was busy in the phone call, I didn't hear you well. Okay, now you tell me, I'll bring it. She will say, not maybe, I told you. Okay, you told me. You can say that, you told me, I agree that you told. I am sorry. You can do like this. People do in India, like that, I am sorry. So then what happens? The relationship is preserved. Relationships get better. So many times two people are trying to prove their own point, and that distances relationship. We have to be very careful. Like one time, a mentor was asking a boy, why you didn't come last week? The boy said, I came. Who told you I didn't come? What is this? I was there, in the beginning of the class, I was sitting behind watching who all came, but I didn't find you there. Yes, Prabhuji, I came late, Prabhu, he said. Oh, really? How late you came? Prabhuji came for 20 minutes late. Oh, I was there. Huh? And then he thought, oh yeah, that's true. I left by 17 minutes, I left. Huh? Because the mentors generally come in the beginning of the class and set it rolling and then they go. And he came 20 minutes. But then during prasadam time, you never showed up. No, Prabhuji, I packed prasadam and took it away. Huh? Because I had examination. So I went away. He said, really? Anybody else saw you that you came? Why did you ask? Yes, Prabhuji, I met so and so, I met so and so. Okay, I'll check with them. He says. That means he feels he doesn't trust me. Correct, no? He is policing me. So, these are things which distances the relationship. On the other hand, you can ask, Prabhu, I think last week you couldn't come, I think. Probably you had exam or something like that, you say. He says, no, Prabhuji, I was there. Prabhuji. Oh, really? I'm sorry. Probably I didn't notice it. I was only in the beginning of the talk. Then I went away. And you might have come a little later, I think. I'm sorry. I misunderstood. No, it's all right, Prabhuji says. That's why we talk. Give a benefit of doubt. Correct, no? When you say, I'm sorry, you think, so he's a senior man, he's still saying sorry. So you become very dear to the heart of the junior. We should not fear to say sorry when you commit a mistake. Ready?
Clarifying expectations. The root of many relationship difficulties is conflicting or ambiguous expectations, especially in regard to roles and goals. We create negative situations by assuming that our expectations are self-evident. It requires courage, effort, and time to clarify expectations at the beginning of a relation. But it will prevent misunderstandings and disappointments in the long run.
Yeah. See, this is one of the biggest confusion creators, the sixth one, clarifying expectations. Say, for example, you are a senior, you told, Prabhu, evening I have a program at 7 o'clock, can you make the room ready? Yes, Prabhuji, he says. And then the senior comes to see the hall and he finds, there is no chatai put up, there is no mic stand, there is no projector set up, nothing. He calls that boy and says, Prabhu, I told you to do the service. Yes, Prabhuji, I have made the hall ready. He said, what did you do? He said, I just swept the hall. I just swept it. That's all I thought you needed, making the hall ready. So now what is the mistake that happened here? Who can say? Yes?
Lack of clarity of instruction.
Lack of clarity of instruction.
Clarify what.
So it's whose mistake? The leader's mistake or subordinate mistake?
Leader's mistake.
It's actually both mistake.
Okay.
Because subordinate should ask, ready means what all you want. Correct, no? As soon as somebody gives you an instruction, you bring a pad and pen. Prabhuji, tell me what all you want me to do. Ready means, according to you, what is ready? Because everybody has different meaning and definition of making ready. Correct, no? Like for example, we say, can Boston Temple bring the prasad for the breakfast? Is it all right? They say, yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Haribol. Now what is missing in this?
When.
Correct, no? By when you want the prasad. If I tell them that, Prabhuji, our Bhagavatam class will get over by 8:30. 8:30 devotees will want to take prasad, but actually I won't be ending at 8:30, I end at 9. But what I should say? 8:30, especially when you deal with Indians. Correct, no? You say 8:30 is, then by 9 it will be ready, correct, no? So therefore what is to be done, who will do it, and by when? 3 things should be told clearly. What is to be done? You didn't clarify. Neither it is subordinate ask him. Then both of them will be, so the senior will be upset, subordinate will also be upset. He didn't tell me properly. So clarifying expectation is very important. Any service you give to anybody. Like once me and Gaurang Prabhu, I was going in my car. Gaurang Prabhu had left for his car. Then Gaurang Prabhu called me and said, hey Radhesham, I heard that you are also going to Bombay. Where are you? I was somewhere in the road in my car. And he was also in the road in another car. So he said, hey, we can go together. You can come in my car. You drop the Pune car and come with me. He said, I said, wonderful idea. So where should I come? I asked him. He said, you come to the bridge. I said, so the one particular bridge. I was in the bottom of the bridge. He was on the top of the bridge. I was waiting. And I am calling him. Where are you? I am on the bridge. I was on the bridge only. Which side? I am on the left side. He said, I am on the right side. So we crossed the road and went there. This side of the bridge. And I go, Prabhuji, I am still not able to find you. He said, okay, I am coming. And he went from the top to this side. Then after 2-3 phone calls, I understood. He said, hey, I am at the top of the bridge. Sir. Oh, you are on the top. I am at the bottom. That you didn't tell me in the beginning. Oh, I am sorry. And I kept the phone down. So I was going top, he came to bottom. We both are like, one biggest mistake was we both were in our laptops and the coordination was done by our driver. And they were simple fellows. Huh? See, the driver came to know that he is in the top. So I told him to go to top. He told him to come to the bottom. Again, he said, Raj, I am still not finding you. I am also not able to find you. Then he told me, hey, tell me truthfully, are you in Pune temple or are you in... I said, I'm here only. Then we were looking for some landmark, Then finally we both decided, we are not able to find each other, better you go in your own car. And we were going in the car, and in one traffic signal we saw each other. Then Gaurav was going, hey, Radhe, 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 he was shouting. Who is shouting? I saw he was there. Then I told my driver, now I'm getting down. It was a funny thing it was. Because of clarifying expectation. Later on, we understood what was the mistake. When we talked to each other, that time we understood clearly what was the mistake. See, landmark means, proper landmark is important. Like sometimes in one city also, there are 2 Le Méridien hotels in the same city. If I am saying, hey, I am just opposite Le Méridien hotel. Yeah, I am also opposite, but you are not there. So where? Then the 2 addresses. They are in front of Le Méridien, 2 different hotels, correct? No? So clarifying expectation. Similarly, many times senior-junior relationship gets strained when they both had different expectation. Recently, in my travel, one of the temples, one of the preachers, he was driving me. I asked him, Prabhu, what do you teach to your people? He said, Prabhu, every time I take a new topic from Bhagavatam, and I prepare on different themes and I speak. But Prabhu, these are new boys. You are speaking directly Bhagavatam to them and you are different topics. Sometimes I take Vedic cosmology, I take sometimes. Sometimes I take Ajamila, something I take like that, he said. I said, Prabhu, you have to go from the basics. He said, Prabhuji, you told me to do device, I have done device, but after device I don't know what to do next. And when I go to your website, my head is spinning, as there are so many things are there, I don't know which one to take. Prabhuji, anything you want me to do, you give me, this is the note, then I will do it, he said. Then I sent him the link. Then now he started with the notes. So what was the problem? I had presumed that people know it. I have been speaking to different people. But unless you are very clearly specified, people will not know. Then we may have misunderstanding. Correct, no? Yeah, this is the root of many relationship difficulties. Conflicting and ambiguous. So these are the 6 things. You'll remember? Yes. Is the mic too? Yeah.
Prabhu, you talked about clarifying expectations and giving details, especially when we are dealing with devotees. But also sometimes we feel that if we give too much instruction, too much detail, it may seem like micromanaging. So how do we kind of create a balance between not micromanaging and also clarifying expectations?
Yeah. One thing is, we can mostly do things in paper. Like for example, if a service to be done, you give it in paper, this is the detail of the service in 2 pages. Like we have SOPs, we have now. So standard of practice we have. So in the same manner, you give, because different devotees need different amount of guidance. For some people, if you give the headings, it's good enough. They will develop on the details. For some people, little more details required. Some people, detailed information should be given. So if you give all the 3 levels, so whoever wants to pick up whichever one, they'll pick up. Correct? Now that makes life easy. Correct? No? So who will remember what the first one I said? Anybody remembers that? Should I go back?
How much you have invested?
Yeah. That means it's like an emotional bank deposit. If you, for example, if you invested 6,000 count, like $6,000, if you withdraw 2,000, 3,000, it's all right. Chastisements are withdrawals and deposits are what you have given them. Correct? Love, care and attention. So, you can see this. Understanding the individual is the first thing. Understand that. Example I told you is Krishna Arjuna. Krishna understood the feelings and emotions of Arjuna before giving. So, because Krishna is trying to understand Arjuna, Arjuna felt strong connection. Correct, no? That's the first thing. Second thing, then small good things you do or big deposits, it's not that for big deposit you have to do big. Even if you do small, that which is very important for them. For example, one boy, I just recommended him to one congregation member and the congregation member gave him a job. That boy, he feels so much gratitude because he was desperate for a job for 2 years. And then when he got the job, he said, Prabhu, now I promise you, whole life I will chant 16 rounds. He jumped from 8 rounds to 16 rounds. For him, it's a big deposit. I didn't even do much. I just made one phone call, that's all. So small attention to details can lead to big deposits if it is important. So that kind of little service if you can do for them. And some reference you give, like somebody is coming to America, is desperate to have some devotee connection. You connect him to some temple, they are very grateful. And similarly, this also you should remember, small discourtesies are also big withdrawals. Yeah. We have to be very careful, especially with very new people, tender people, that we don't say or do anything that will lead to, withdrawal with them, from them. Yeah, one has to be very careful with dealing. When upcoming youths, their bitter experiences sometimes make them go away also completely. And then third is keeping commitments, keeping promises. That's the third thing. You can remember easily, commitment, promises, that's the third thing. And the fourth thing, showing integrity. Now what is the difference between the third and the fourth thing? Third thing is about you spell out a promise and you keep it. And then the fourth thing is about, practicing what you preach, which means what you say, you also do it. Then that builds a trust. Yeah, that means one should not have any error in character, one's character, yeah. And fifth one, willing to say sorry, apologizing sincerely when you make a mistake. In that there are 2 points said, mistake of the mind, mistake of the heart. Mistake of the mind means, see when Ajamila went to forest and was plucking flowers and looked at that low class woman, his mind was agitated, that is mistake of the mind. Mistake of the heart is when he decided to bring her to home and drive away the parents and chaste wife. That is mistake of heart. Correct, no? That means mistake of heart is John Bujkar. That is mistake of heart. Mistake of mind is unknowingly committed mistake. Correct, no? Unknowingly, innocently committed mistake is forgivable. Yeah, that is not considered inappropriate or something. Yeah, sometimes sometimes you committed a mistake and then you find that, you did it big, and then when you say sorry, immediately people write it off from their mind. They don't take it seriously. Mistake of the mind is, like for example, you have put the shoes outside. Somebody wore your shoes and went. Say your shoe is like $2,000 and their shoe is only $200 or $300. Now when they took it, now you are wondering, hey, how did somebody steal my shoes? And then immediately you find the next half an hour they come back and say, Prabhupada, I'm sorry, I think I took somebody else's shoes. I'm sorry. And then you find, because in India there is one quality shoe called a sandak, they call it. Sandak is only 50 to 100 rupees only. It's very cheap it is. But looks like a leather shoe. Well, the appearance is very attractive. But after some time you'll come to know. It's just a plastic shoe. It's a plastic shoe. Sandak shoe. But the leather shoe, it's a costly thing, correct? So then if he comes and gives back, so it is a mistake of the mind or heart? Mind, because he, by mistake he took it and he brought it back also. Somebody purposefully brings a sandak shoe and looks for a similar shoe and leaves this and takes that and goes and never returns back. Later on you chase after different people, you find out, then when he comes to know that you are chasing, he runs away. That means a mistake of the heart. Because his planned way is doing it, correct? No? Similarly, when we cover up a mistake, that is considered a bigger mistake. Being honest is good. So otherwise, when I cover up some, one time, one mentor, he came at about 10:15. He came. Some devotees were all sleeping. So next day morning he came for chanting at 6 o'clock. So he told all the devotees, the mentor was supposed to give class that day. So he said, Prabhu, I'm sorry, yesterday it became 12:15, I was damn tired. And Radheshyam Prabhu was given the lenience that if you come after 12, morning program can be waived off. You can come late. There is a policy we have in voice. Therefore I came at 12:15, therefore I am coming at 6 o'clock, like that he said. All the boys said, solid Prabhu, we should have taken adequate rest. One boy said, Prabhu, you came at 10:15, Prabhu, he said. And this fellow was shocked. How this fellow knows the truth? He said, no, I came at 12:15 only, he said. He said, no, Prabhuji, I personally saw you came at 10:15. He said, no, nobody was awake, all lights were switched off. Everybody was sleeping. He said, Prabhuji, I was lying down but I'm not getting sleep. So I was inside the blanket. When I heard the sound, I saw like this. You didn't see me, but I saw you. I saw you coming into the room. And immediately looked at my clock. It was 10:15. He said. Then this devotee didn't know what to say. He was looking here and there like this. Shil Prabhupada ki? And he finished the class. Now the boys started talking amongst one another. He didn't know whether to tell the truth or not. Next day morning again he had to give class. He told the devotees, my devotees, I am very sorry to say, yesterday I spoke a lie to all of you. Actually I came at 10:15, I told you 12:15. Why I said this? Because somehow I got late and then you all should not take my bad example. Therefore, to make sure that you will walk the right path, I told you 12:15. I had no other bad intention. Now Krishna has brought up the truth through the so-and-so devotee. And I have no malice for him in my heart. He told the truth and therefore now I understood, now I am sorry. He said, so hope you all will not take it to your heart. Now everybody said, no problem. They said, they forgot it. So when you try to cover up this kind of things, then people will not, they will say that, hey, he is trying to cover a watermelon inside 2 hands. Can you cover watermelon with 2 hands? You cannot cover it. It will come out. Insolence when Jadut Maharaj says, he was once telling a story of how, of course he was telling this, one should not drink water, even a drop of water. A king had made a policy on Ekadashi day in his entire kingdom. But then he himself was very thirsty. So he went underwater and drank water inside the water. He was drinking. People found out, hey, he's drinking water inside water. He was telling. So when you cover up, people will find out. And then lastly, clarifying expectation. Therefore it is said, assume. What is assume? Assume makes an ass out of you and me, it is said. They said, so assume. Don't assume anything, better clarify always. What is to be done? Who will do it? By when? So these 6 things can help us in preserving relationships, protecting relationships, and also enhancing relationship with the people. You will see that scriptures abound with examples for these things. There are many, when expectations are not met with, they frustrate the people. Like for example, Drona Drupada relationship became spoiled because expectations were not met. Correct now? You can see that. So each of these items is available in scripture, you will find. Yes? Third one, yeah. This is maintaining a promise. Can be a major boost. And then breaking promise, major injury. Making and breaking promise is a very bad thing. So we all can take care. Now the 6 things, which is one point very important for you, any of you, out of the 6 things. Has any of you? Which is one point you felt you are going to strictly follow now onwards? Yes. Which one? Integrity. That means walking our talk. We said, we did. Very good. Yes. Anybody else? Which other point you like? Yes?
Clarifying expectations.
Yeah, correct. Which means sometimes you have to give in writing or sometimes ask questions to understand exactly what is needed. so we don't misunderstand. Yeah, correct. Anything else? Keeping promise, yeah, keeping promises. Then by keeping promises, you will enhance your relationship. Making whatever promises, make less promises, but keep them. Whatever promise you make. Yeah, and then? Apologizing sincerely, yeah. Apologize, not covering up the mistakes. Apologizing sincerely, yeah. When we try to cover up mistake, we look very ugly. So people will detect, people will find out. And then a person's character is no more trusted by people. Like Bill Clinton, he had an affair with a woman in the Parliament House. When some people protested against it, he flatly denied. They spent some $8 million to take the matter to court to prove that he did adultery with some woman in the Parliament House. And he spent $10 million to deny that. So he successfully succeeded in that for some time. And again it was proven in the court. It was all in Prabhupada's time, Bill Clinton. Prabhupada said now his reputation is spoiled now. Prabhupada used to talk about Clinton. Correct now? In his dialogues you get this. Bill Clinton, you see that. Actually there are, what is it? Nixon, yeah. Nixon, not Clinton, Nixon. So there are people like that. You find big people, if they do something blunder and they try to cover up. Money scams are also like that. Money scams. People try to bury it. When it comes out, it will be very bad. Now, especially we are talking about mentors dealing with mentees. So mentors should have high character. And mentors' speech, behavior, lifestyle, everything is watched by the mentees. We have to be, ultimately speaking, we have to be free from mistakes. Like who is free from mistake? A pure devotee, correct now? Pure devotee is free from 4 defects. So when it comes to us, we have to find out how much are we deviating from the ideal standard. We should try to again and again bring us back to the right standard. Yeah. So that we don't deviate from the pure path of Krishna consciousness. And also, one should, just as we watch other people and find fault, we have to watch ourselves and find fault with ourselves. It's good for us. Question answered?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Now let's have the presentation now. Group can come now. Please come. Group number 4, correct? Come. Give them this. Give them this one. Connecting?
Bridge getting the connector.
Yes. Balanced view, huh? It's a group 4, no? It's correct. Yeah, I can take it.
Hare Krishna. So we often find ourselves standing in positions of extremities. For example, how many of you think only brahmacharis can go back to Godhead? Or how many of you think everyone should get married? Similarly, some of us sometimes think, should I just do sadhana all the time? Seva will be taken care by someone else. Or should I do seva all the time? Krishna will protect me at the time of death. So often at times we find ourselves in positions of extremities, and being in a position of a preacher, it's very important that we have a balanced view to things. So today's presentation is because So before we even begin our presentation, a very famous example is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. When Ashwatthama was hunted down by Arjuna and brought to Draupadi, Draupadi immediately, to Arjuna's surprise, Draupadi said not to kill him. And Srimad Bhagavatam says how Krishna, Nakula, Sahadev, Satyaki and all the others present, they all agreed with Draupadi that yes, Ashwatthama should not be killed. So in contrast to that, Bhimsen was the only one to say that no, Ashwatthama should be killed. Then immediately Krishna smilingly looked at Arjuna and said, Arjuna, now it is up to you. How will you resolve this conflict? How will you resolve these extreme positions? So Krishna and Bhimsen wanted Ashwatthama to be killed, and Yudhishthira and Draupadi wanted Ashwatthama not to be killed. And Krishna told Arjuna, you decide. But act in such a way that is pleasing to me. So what did Arjuna do? Arjuna shaved off his hair and took away the jewel. So it was a way of dishonor as well as not killing him. So both the parties were pleased. So time and again the scriptures present so many examples where people are present, where the parties are present in extreme positions, but at the same time we learn to reconcile both of them. So for example, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, Na dashnatastu yogosti nachaikantam manashtataha nachati swapnashilasya jagato neva Arjuna. Krishna is telling Arjuna, for a yogi, to become a yogi, one should not eat too much, not eat too less. One should not sleep too much, not sleep too less. And then the famous Yukta Ahara Viharasya Yukta Cheshtasya Karmasu Yukta Swapna Bodhasya Yogo Bhavati Dukkha. Krishna tells, he tells Arjuna that if you want to be regulated, if you want to mitigate distress, then you have to be regulated in your recreation, your eating, sleeping habits, and your work. There has to be a balance. So, balance exists everywhere in this world. Wherever you see, balance is natural and balance is attractive. Whether you see ISKCON society or brahmacharis, grihasthas, matajis, prabhujis, old people, young people, babies, etc., etc. Even Shivananda Saint's dog, animals also there, isn't it? And similarly, you see in the society outside, there is a balance of doctors, engineers, lawyers. What if the whole world, everyone was a doctor? What if everyone was an engineer? Isn't it? Similarly, in an orchestra, there are different instruments. In Kirtan, there is also different instruments. One cannot overpower the other, or you can say every instrument, every person involved has a role to play. Yeah, so therefore we have to understand what is balance. What balance are we talking about? The balance that we're talking about is balancing the extremities or by balancing the fanatical positions, and that comes by deeper understanding. And what is not the balance we're talking about? We're not talking about balance so that I can make it very convenient for myself to twist things according to my convenience. And therefore balance requires maturity. By resolving conflicts or by having a balanced view, when we can balance fanatical positions, then we get people of thinking nature to come to the Krishna consciousness movement. So the first point which is mentioned here is applying teachings according to time, place and circumstance. So we want to show it through a skit. So if you can just move this way quickly. So we have the skit of, the skit's name is A Tale of Bhakta Twist. So Bhakta Twist, you have your mic ready? So Bhakta Twist, you might be wondering how did he get his name? Because when he was chanting, he always would twist and turn his body because of his stiff back. So he got the name Bhakta Twist. But apart from that, there's a twist in the tale of Bhakta Twist. And the twist in the tale is, apart from twisting his back, he also liked to twist the philosophy according to his convenience. So let's see a case study. Once upon a time, Bhakta Twist, very eager to distribute books, just picked up his book bag and headed out to the train station.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita. So I already have a lot. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Oh, I'm feeling so hungry. Let me see if I have some Janni Prasadam. Oh Krishna, no Prasadam. What to do? Anyway, Krishna is there for his devotees. Hare Krishna. ये बड़ा पाव इसमें अनियन गार्लिक है?
Of course, bhai.
Oh, but what to do? I'm so hungry. But Srila Prabhupada said preaching should go on. For him, book distribution was the most important thing. I'm going for book distribution now. I have to eat something. भैया एक दे दो. ये लो. Thank you.
Thus, Bhakta Twist very carefully, very smartly twisted the philosophy according to time, place and circumstance. Now we see Bhakta Twist is intensely preparing for his interview the next day. That's the time a senior devotee is shocked to find that Bhakta Twist is still awake.
Let me drink some water.
Oh, that's Bhakta Twist. Hare Krishna, Bhakta Twist. What's going on? It's too late and you're still awake. You look so tense.
Yes, I have to study for my interview tomorrow. I have a very important interview tomorrow and I need to give my full for this interview.
Oh, that's very good. You're so serious about your material duties and studies. But look, like I see you have done only 2 rounds. Like you are still left with 14 rounds of chanting.
प्रभु जी, chanting तो होता रहता है. See, I have to prepare for this interview so that I can do something great for Krishna. Once I clear this interview, my whole time is for Krishna. So now, let me study now, and then later on, I will take to Krishna consciousness fully.
But when will you complete your remaining rounds? You need to.
I can do it tomorrow. What's the big deal?
Okay. Krishna, take care.
Hare.
The next day, something more shocking happens.
Om Jai Jagdish Hare, Swami Jai Jagdish Hare, Bhakt Jano ke
What? What's going on here? You're worshipping demigods?
Om Jai Jagdish
Hare. What's going on?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, don't you see, I am worshipping different demigods because yesterday only I had interview. And you know, it's very important for me to crack this interview. Once I crack this interview, then I can dedicate myself fully to Krishna. Then my whole time is for Krishna. So I want to get this interview cleared quickly. I want to get this job quickly so that then I can be Krishna's servant. I can, preach. I can do so many things for Krishna. And who prayed to Krishna? Gopis. They prayed to Katyayani Devi for Krishna. They Prachetas, they prayed Shiva to get Krishna. Similarly, let me also pray and get this job, and then I'll be Krishna's servant.
Jai, only you can understand your transcendental consciousness.
And having cracked the job interview and getting a placement, after a couple of years, Bhakta Twist happened to fly to America. And with his experience of preaching, mentoring, facilitating, frontlining and whatnot, Bhakta Twist also started to preach in America.
Wow, what a scene! Amazing!
Bhakta, what are you doing? You're watching a Hollywood movie? For what?
Come on, Prabhu, just take a chill pill. This is USA. You have to understand the psychology of Americans, Then only you will be able to preach. So, watching these movies is important. And then, through these movies, I try to give Krishna consciousness to the devotees. So it's very important that to watch these movies.
धन्य हो आप और धन्य हो आपकी preaching प्रभु जी.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So therefore, from the example of Bhakta Twist, we can learn what not to do. So Bhakta Twist very conveniently twisted and turned the philosophy just so that his position can be justified. So let's see what Srila Prabhupada says. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport to Madhya Leela 23.105, Prabhupada says one has to learn the possibility of renunciation in terms of country, time and candidate. Interestingly, Prabhupada also says what might work in India might not work in other countries outside India. And therefore, who can twist or who can make changes is only the teacher, Acharya. Prabhupada says the teacher or Acharya has to consider time, candidate and country. He must avoid the principle of Niyama Agraha. Niyama means rule, grahan means to accept. Agraha means not to accept the rules, and agraha means over accepting the rules, to the point that purpose is lost. And therefore Prabhupada clearly mentions the Acharya's duty is to accept the essence of devotional service. We should not follow regulative principles without an effect, nor should we fail to accept the regulative principles. Without the sanction of the spiritual master, we should not try to imitate. So who can make changes in the principles or in the tradition that's going on? The Acharyas can. We know examples of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur introducing saffron for brahmacharis, or Srila Prabhupada giving Brahmin Diksha to Matajis, or Brahmacharya ashram, that's only in the West. You cannot even imagine such an ashram in India. Why does Srila Prabhupada do that? To make Krishna consciousness relevant and practical. And why? Because people come from different upbringing and background.
Okay, so I'll be talking on presenting wisdom digestly without compromising the truth. The verse here, which is very relevant and we all know, is Anudvega Karam Vakyam Satyam Priyahitam Chayat Swatyaya Bhasanam Chaiva Vanmayam Tapa Uchyate. So basically what we are saying, like Bhagavad Gita is saying, is the austerity of speech is speaking words which are truthful, pleasing and beneficial and not agitating to others. So we all know that the words are very sharper than even knife. So what we kind of speak is we should be very careful about what we kind of do. And how kind of we kind of need to present whatever we need to present to the devotees or upcoming devotees is we need to understand start at their level, right? So in Vedas we also know that there are subject matters related to science, astronomy, mathematics and everything, right? So we know for sure that if these subject matters are also involved in the scriptures, so we can always see that there's always something which we are not known are also part of the scriptures. So we should have faith in the scriptures and we should kind of move on there. And then Prabhupada also says that eat your way back to Godhead. So Prabhupada emphasizes on taking prasadam and purifying our consciousness to even go on to Krishna consciousness. And he also kind of puts words like he translates mukut as helmet, chariot as car. So when we know that mukut is crown, right, but he kind of calls it helmet. But so we can understand how he's kind of making words easier for the audience to understand in a way that they can grasp the content better. In the modern day examples and the stories, we know like how Prabhupada also compared the Kurukshetra war with the Vietnam war to kind of better understand the audience in the West that this is how the impact or the scale of the war was. And speaking the language, there was an example of a sannyasi and a very grand chess master where the chess master kind of mentioned that how did you get to Krishna consciousness, and then he said that your black Krishna checkmated me. So he was speaking his language. So moving on.
So the next pointer is speaking to the need of the audience without diluting the truths. So most of the time we see when we find a new word or when we start a new program, we try to focus on all the fancy things like mentorship, stress management, anger management, but we don't focus on Krishna, we don't touch Krishna. So a lot of time we dilute the truth. So how to avoid that is by answering the heart of the question. So there have been a lot of instances with Srila Prabhupada where he, like an incident with lady reporter and other incident with the reporter referee Allen Ginsberg, where he directly, touched the heart of the question rather than going into the philosophy and shastrical evidences and all. So the important thing is to put the Krishna as a solution to all the problems, and other important thing would be to speak with the compassion, with the consciousness that you want to uplift the consciousness of the other new devotees and boys.
Hare Krishna. So, the fourth one is to illustrate wisdom with storytelling and examples. So, this is done as Sri Prabhupada very nicely. Whatever he explains, he uses modern day examples and stories and makes it very colorful. And Sri Prabhupada quotes, next slide please. In 1716 Bhagavad Gita, the best course to divert the mind best course is to divert the mind to the Vedic literature, which are full of satisfying stories. And he gives examples of Puranas and Mahabharata. So more we use examples, stories, analogies. So this is what people catch, as Prabhuji puts it, punching examples. So people catch the stories, and through those examples, later on they'll remember the philosophical points. So to explain this, we have a quick skit, balancing outreach and inreach. Yeah, mentor should learn to balance.
So once there was Sumit Prabhu, and he was staying in BYS, and let's see what he is up to.
Now we are not this body, we are the spirit soul. Yes, so we should get off the body attachments. What goes around comes around. Good, do good, you'll get good, you do that, you'll get bad.
You're best preacher, Thank you.
I think Sumit Prabhu is such a dynamic preacher. Sumit Prabhu, please come here. What a preacher you are. So enthusiastic.
Thank you, brother.
Whenever I catch you, daytime, nighttime, inside, outside, always preaching.
Thank you, brother.
But I have one concern. What about your sadhana, Prabhu? I don't see your sadhana card nowadays.
What sadhana, Prabhuji?
No.
I mean, Prabhupada has given us so much. He has come from India all the way. He had 2 heart attacks on the ship. He just took 40 rupees. He just took grains and cereals with him, and he just carried a copy of Bhagavatam. Right? So all he did was for preaching. So I think preaching should be our main agenda here, right?
Oh, Sumit Prabhu, you also have to take care of your sadhana. Otherwise you will become weak and you will even leave the BYS. Please take care, Sumit Prabhu.
Yes, I'll make sure. Thank you.
And after many months living this lifestyle of imbalance, then let's see what Sumit Prabhu has to say now to his counselor.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Oh, Hare Krishna, Sumit Prabhu, very nice to see you.
Good to see you as well, Prabhuji.
What happened? Why the long face?
Actually, I wanted to say, Prabhuji, that I can't stay at BYS anymore.
What?
Yes.
Why leave BYS?
I don't want to say anything, Prabhuji. It's very personal, so I would like to stay with me. And
Oh, Sumit Prabhu, please let me know. I'm here to help you in any way.
No, Prabhuji, I just want to leave.
Okay, Sumit Prabhu, if you say so. But please know that I'm there for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Then Sumit Prabhu is talking to his best friend. Let's see.
Hare Krishna, Sumit Prabhu, how are you?
I'm good, Prabhu.
Oh, I heard you are leaving BYS. What happened?
Prabhuji, what can I say? Our council is giving so many preaching activities, cleaning, and book distribution, Harinam, everything I am doing, Prabhuji. And where do I find my time to do my sadhana? Where can I do my chanting? I don't understand. What am I supposed to do? So that's the reason I am leaving BYS.
Hare Krishna.
So therefore we see how it is very important to balance our outreach and inreach. So happy preacher preaches. If we feed our soul, then we have enough Shakti to give to others. Janma Sarthakari. So in lecture short, I'll just get to the drive home points. So call for action for all of us as preachers. 1, we should regularly study Srila Prabhupada's books scrutinizingly. Why or how? With personal and preaching application points. Why? When we do that, we'll understand how the extreme positions can always be reconciled. We can take a mature position. Second, we make changes to our lifestyle, Krishna conscious lifestyle, only under guidance. We cannot call anything as Yukta Vairagya. First comes Vairagya, then Yukta Vairagya. Similarly, to change anything according to time and circumstance, it has to be done under guidance. Don't be Bhakta twist. Don't take fanatical stand. Understand that there's probably more to it than what we know. be open-minded. In this way, we can attract people instead of shutting them off because of our own shallow understanding of concept. And the last, if you don't know something, be humble and ask the superiors, or be open to sending the boy to superiors who can probably better help the students. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Haribol. No. Questions? Yeah.
It was a wonderful presentation, Prabhu, especially with the skits. It was very easy to see what are actually, like, it was easy to grasp also. But my question is that in the last skit you showed that the devotee who was in so much services who could not do sadhana, eventually leaves BYS. So my question is that how can we schedule our days so that our sadhana is also fixed and at the same time we are not neglecting our seva? Like what can be the solution for it?
The best is to fill your sadhana card and send it weekly.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Prabhu, for amazing skit. And yeah, so I have a question about how to balance the extremities where the line is very fine, like not so deep. Like for example, care and detachment, or when we are ourselves probably not attached to something, but newcomers are. So how do we care for that? And then also like how to be merciful and still not be able to tolerate the existence. So those kind of extremities.
So we find that, of course, some places where it's pretty easy to see, it's not very difficult, but still we need guidance. Because the tendency of the false ego is to twist, like Bhakta twist, according to our convenience. So similarly, for situations where the line is very fine, still we need a very mature, the guidance of a very mature devotee. So we find, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. We put ourselves in the body of Vaishnavas. We surround ourselves by Vaishnavas. We take guidance from our senior devotees, from spiritual master, and we also learn a lot from the scriptural examples. So you can take one example like Bharat Maharaj. When he got a deer, he was also confused. The fine line between caring for the deer versus protecting his own sadhana. Isn't it? It's a very fine line. He himself could not look at it. He could not spot that line. Or maybe the false ego of trying to be a protector overtook his concern for sadhana. And therefore Prabhupada says that Bharat Maharaj willfully neglected his sadhana. Isn't it? So therefore if we put ourselves in association of Vaishnavas, and some Vaishnavas will tell you, we're going into Maya. And that Maya is in shape of the deer. Someone will tell you, or the Guru can chastise you. Isn't it? So therefore it's very important that we take shelter of the Vaishnavas. That's my take.
Thank you, Prabhu. I have this question, there's a mention that, we need to consider time, place and circumstances for understanding and applying philosophy. And the alteration or modification can only be done by Acharya. So that was the point which was made in the presentation. And this is my understanding, might be wrong, but for time, place and circumstances, like you said to Ritesh Prabhu's answer to the question, is that if we consult with our mentors or like our authority, then they can tell us like what is appropriate solution for the time, place and circumstance for me. But most of the time, there are people, including me, who are not, very vocal about their time, place and circumstances. Like my authority doesn't know 100% about my time, place and circumstances. So, for a situation where I feel that I need some support, but it's not that big a major situation, is it not a barrier to tell the mentor about the entire time, place and circumstances I'm going through before I make a decision how to handle that situation? Do you have any suggestions in such kind of
thing? So actually, I feel that we should be thoroughly honest with our authorities, with our superiors, because we may think that this situation is like a very personal thing, and we may but they may have seen those situations with other students as well, other mentors as well. So they may be able to guide. So one thing is like guyam akheti prichati. That means we have to reveal our mind in confidence with our superiors. So that I feel that is very important. And so that that's my point.
So we should also understand that we have to take shelter somewhere. So if one feels that one particular devotee is not probably maybe qualified to answer this question, he can go to someone else. Like I heard when one scientist devotee or something, he went to Radhanath Maharaj and he was asking some doubt. Immediately Radhanath Maharaj pointed to another scientist devotee, senior scientist devotee. He said, you can ask, you can connect with him. So it's not that one person is only sitting at the top. There's an entire body, or before we said body of Vaishnavas. I mean, we cannot think about such situation is so unique. Only I am experiencing this in the material world, isn't it? So there will be other devotees, similar situations, some sort of, they have walked the same path, who can help us. And the benefit is they give advice from a spiritual light, which we ourselves cannot see it in our position. So we can ask ourselves, okay, if I don't want to go to the devotees, whom else will I go to? Can I go to my, the materialistic circle, a spiritual circle or materialistic circle? Isn't it? So now in the spiritual circle, okay, if this devotee is, I know what advice he'll give. Okay, go to someone whom you have faith in. Isn't it?
Hare Krishna. My question is in regard to balance. So sometimes you see that, we have experienced this. Like sometimes some boy will be very submissive and detached. Many good qualities will be there. And then when he is there in the Vivayas, and so he may take up many services because he likes to everything. And the mentors may know also that his sadhana and all morning program may not be sometimes very good. He's struggling. But it's not struggling because of mistake of heart. It's like, sometimes you have some late night assignments and many things like that, And he says, okay, I'm working on it like that, keeps saying. And he doesn't say no to service also. Service he likes to do also keeps going on like that. And now, and temple also needs it because temple also may need the services because services are a lot. Somebody is doing it also. So helplessly, the services comes to him anyway. Helplessly, services he gets anyway. In the sense that mentor is not able to say no also. Because so many services are there. And he likes to do service also. But over the period what happens, and this person feels dried out. It happens. And it won't happen, like immediately he won't say. He's saying happy only. He'll say, no, I'm happy only, everything. He won't say even problem also. So he likes to serve, he says nice service to the Lord and all that he'll say. But after months you will see that now this person is struggling with his academics or job pressure and this and that. then suddenly he wants to go very far. He doesn't want to keep in touch also. So what do you suggest, like, in whole dynamics, what are things can be taken care so that we don't get this kind of situation of crisis?
So how we do it in New York City is we have systems in place. That means, for example, because VYS is in the temple and our Indian boys are very hardworking and they always are found in the temple, whereas others are outside the temple preaching, going for Harinam. So Indian boys are readily available. So the tendency of any manager will be, if someone is just walking to the prasadam hall, just catch him in between for 20 minutes, put him into some seva. So we have made the system that not just for VYS, we have other systems where Western preaching goes on. For anything, the mentor, any service given to the bhaktas should go to the mentor. So the mature mentor is one who sees that the sadhana and seva is being balanced. Because the mature mentor knows this, all glories to his transcendental nature. He can only always do seva, but he knows in the future this can happen. He will get fried out, or he, like you saw Sumit Prabhu, he started putting all the blame on viewers. So we predict such situations because it has happened before. So a mature mentor, he can understand the transcendental devotee today might not be so transcendental tomorrow. So we put some system in place so that they don't get too fried out or burnt. So we have to see the sadhana is going nicely, the seva is going nicely, the material duties are going nicely. Sometimes a devotee can come and say, Prabhu, I'm ready to sacrifice. If we ourselves say, Prabhu, I'm very happy with your sacrifice, but I think it's good if you can continue studies. Like in VYS, we have also done 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. No one can touch any of the boys. Full studies. But before 9 a.m. morning program. And after 5 p.m. we have cleaning and other evening reading, etc. But 9 to 5, no one can touch them. They might be sleeping the whole 9 to 5. Still no one can touch them. Because probably they had some interview the previous night and whole night they were awake. So we never know. So like this, I feel some systems in place can help.
Very nice answer, beautiful. Haribol. Yeah, you can read that.
One more question.
Acha, who has one more question? Yes, one last question.
Mike is there.
Hare Krishna. So I have this question about principle why combine Shastric insight with storytelling and analogies. So for me, one way works well, where we start describing the Leela, and on the way, whatever lessons come out, we can share the lessons with the audiences. But the other way, I have no clue how to make that work, where we want to share some lesson, and in connection with that lesson,
put a little pastime in between.
Share some pastime or some anecdote or analogy. Radhesham Prabhu did so perfectly. So how to develop that skill?
I think this question is for Radhesham Prabhu.
You can answer it. I will add more later.
I feel the best way is to hear Prabhuji's lectures and try to inculcate.
That is because of thematic approach.
Yes, thematic.
Take one theme. All our game courses are like that. Take one theme in which you talk the concepts. Where is the style originally coming from? From Prabhupada. If it's Prabhupada, if you see concept, then example stories. Again concept, example stories. So if you teach like that, later on when people recapitulate, they will recapitulate from the story to concepts. Story to concept. So stories and examples are more easy to remember than concepts. But while speaking, we put concept first and then story. Because concepts cannot be understood by people. Then you tell a story, they understand it. Like that. Correct, no? But that type of style we have to learn. Why? Because when you go to a college, they will not give you one pastime. Govardhan Leela, can you speak? They will not tell you. So they may expect you to speak on a theme. So learning thematically is always good. If you learn thematically, then you put the themes, 5 or 10 concepts, and then fit some examples, analogies. Of course, you will have to prepare in advance also. Correct? Now you will do some preparation. But one easiest way, you become one of the mentors and you teach students. If you start game course of 75 lessons, at the end of which you have 75 topics which you are expert at. Because already spoken. Then in the similar manner you will develop. I did the same thing with His Holiness Bhaktivinoda Maharaj's classes. I would hear his lecture, make notes. He speaks exactly like this. Concept, examples, like that. So Prabhupada does it, he does it, so I followed it also. Thank you. Haribol.
Good beginning with question to audience. Should everyone marry or be brahmachari?
That put everyone to thinking, correct, no? On the topic of balance.
Bhakta twist skit was humorous, meaningful, and conveyed a great lesson.
Yeah. And Sachin acted also beautifully. Haribol.
Very good presentation of both concepts on slide and fitting skits to explain them.
That was a very good idea. You just put Bhakta twist on the screen and then you see a skit in the front. Very light presentation, easy for digesting. Beautiful way they conveyed. 3-4 skits they did. For each concept they did. Very nice it was.
Call for action was nicely elaborated point by point. Only sentences could be precise and to the point.
Yeah. It should be brief. It shouldn't be too elaborate. Then people forget the long sentence. We kept very brief and punching. Yeah.
BY's situation of youth was depicted in skit, which is directly relevant to the lives of youths.
Because all the BYS devotees could have easily understood what is going on in the skit. Correct? Something very relevant. This is relevant to the mentors and the future mentees also. So this kind of teaching is very good because the whole 2-day festival is all about, youth mentors. So talking in relevance to youth mentors is very, very important. That they did very well.
Balance was told. There could be more information about success stories of who could do such balance and what pointers we can take from them for our life to become balanced.
Now the drama ridiculed many of the things that are going off balance, and some little lessons were given by the preacher, But we also could talk about success stories of those people who are known for balance. Only one story was given, which was our Ashwatthama story, the Shastra. So from the real life example also I can give. I will give you some examples. His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu once invited me to Vrindavan, to this thing, Govardhan. He has one study retreat, yes. So I was there with him for a week. Daily I used to go, almost 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours we studied Bhagavatam, So it was a small room where almost only 6 people can sit inside. And outside another 10 are sitting, 10, 12. So I was asking Prabhuji later, Prabhu, why only 6 of us? You are such a senior man. If you announce in Vrindavan, 500 people will come. For daily reading also they can come. He said, no, I don't want to do that, he said. He said, in fact, an online 800 are joining. He said, some 700-800 people are joining online. Let them be online only. I want to make it like a confidential program in a small room. Only selected devotees I invite. 5-6 of us were there, and other senior disciples were sitting just outside the room. They were sitting, 10 of them. And I heard that this he does every year during Kartik. And the whole month of Kartik, he goes for circumambulating Govardhan in the afternoon, not in the afternoon, in the evening. It goes like this. Morning, they chant, 32 rounds or 64 rounds, 32 rounds, yeah. They do 32 rounds and then 4-5 hours of reading and circumambulating Govardhan daily. Like that for 1 month they do. This is one example of somebody who is taking in. Similarly, His Holiness Sachidananda Maharaj, probably more than a couple of decades, one full month of Kartik, you will see him, he allows the beard and hair, everything to grow and chants like 64 rounds. Earlier he was chanting 64 rounds, now some people say he chants 128 also, he chants, they say. One full month of Kartik. Because Kartik Mass is called Urja Vrata. One supposed to, somebody asked Prabhupada, how many rounds we should chant in Kartik month? Prabhupada said, never keep the mala down, he said. Continuously chant, he said. So, now these people are vigorous preachers. Who? Our Vaisheshika Prabhu's distributor, Bhakti Pitta and also Sajjan Maharaj, vigorous preacher also. But they are intelligent enough to take out time for their inner development also. You will see that. And rest of the year they work hard preaching and everything. Similarly, as well as Indra Swami Maharaj, he has a lot of Shaligram Shilas also. He worships daily. Now, as well as Gopal Maharaj used to come to Pune, he always carries a bag of Shaligram Shilas and Gaur Nitai and many deities and everything. And he doesn't give that back to anybody very easily. He used to keep it with his Dasharath Prabhu, one of Maharaj's assistants. And Maharaj told him, never keep it down, keep it on your lap. Because it's deities. You cannot keep them here and there. As soon as he would come to Pune, he would get out from the car. First thing he will ask him, give my deities bag. He was very attentive. He would go to the room, and then in the room he will make arrangement for them. We have altar. And daily in the morning, he would chant for some time in the temple hall, but then go to puja room to do puja for the deities. And that puja goes on for almost 1 hour. Now, he has been a GBC EC also. Governing body commissioners, he is in the top. There are two people, very, very big people in India. His one is Jayapataka Maharaj, his one is Gopaksha Maharaj. They two are the ones. Prabhupada gave whole of north to Gopaksha Maharaj and whole of south to Jayapataka Maharaj. They two were actually GBCs in India. Although such a big person, he is taking care of 50, 60, 70 projects across the globe. But he would take out time for puja. Every day,